we are.
All right, let's go live for an actual pre-stream. There we go. What? Playback
What?
here. Back is over here.
Something go funky on you?
Yeah, something on YouTube went funky. Had a playback error on YouTube. Just when I was ready to, sit there and just go, we're off. There we go. There we go. The party. We actually have a pre-stream.
Yay!
Which seems to be working, sort of. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, let's see. Let's see what your alter ego says.
Yeah, well, the alter ego's even there.
Alter ego's there. I'm in contact.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do I have sound on here? Yeah, I got sound on the computer here, so.
Well, that's a step ahead.
And it doesn't sound like Morse code this time.
No, it's actually sounding pretty decent.
I'm stoked.
Means we might actually, have a
Don't jinx us.
have a show. I didn't say anything that should be detrimental to the AI.
Just say break a leg and it's all good.
No, I don't want to break a leg. I've already got a knee that's trying to format into a communicator.
Don't you know where that phrase comes from?
Yes, it comes from them getting up on stage and falling off stage and breaking legs.
No, actually, the phrase break a leg when somebody goes to do something is actually supposed to counteract actually jinxing them. By telling them to break a leg, it was believed that they would not break a leg. Therefore, you were wishing them luck, but not wishing them luck and jinxing them.
Therefore, more legs were broken.
Oh, Aljigo says, you guys are sounding good.
Yay.
Yay, this is awesome.
We actually have a pre-stream.
Oh, here's a question. How loud is my typing?
How loud is your typing? I can't hear it.
All right, that's good. Because I just realized I have my mic right beside the keyboard.
Well, hopefully your mic does that.
Hopefully. I mean, this mic isn't the best mic. It's more of a travel mic, but it does the job pretty well. I mean, it doesn't seem to pick up on the background noises too much. I can't even remember what brand it is. Honestly, I went on Amazon and I just kind of got one that looked decent and was within my price range of $50 or less. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to get here. I'm actually quite pleased with it.
Well, we'll see.
It's a good little travel mic. Although when we were trying to do the show in the same room there, it was picking you up really well. So
can't use that in the same room, no.
Nope.
It don't work. Never let Windows update. But you know what? If you try not let Windows update, it goes, you know what? I think I'm going to update anyway.
I wonder what it is that it's actually updating. Is it actually updating something in the core, or is it updating like adding on a patch, or what do you think?
I have no idea. It crammed an update in there when it wasn't supposed to cram an update in. I have no idea. I hate this magic updates in Windows now. Or I can't stop it, and for some reason it dislikes all my sound settings. Every single time it crams an update, or I actually let it update about once every 6 months. I've figured out how to fake it with it to keep it from doing those massive updates. Usually it will only let you push it to 4 weeks out or something.
How do you fake it?
You push it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then then when you get close, you can push it for another 2 or 3 weeks, and you can push it for another 2 or 3 weeks, and you can push it for another 2 or 3 weeks. You
Okay.
just can't run it up to its maximum. If you run it up to its maximum, that's all it'll let you do.
I
I've
see.
managed to postpone it for as long as 6 months.
Can you tell that we don't like updates, folks?
I don't mind updates. I hate auto updates.
Well, it's not just the auto updates, it's the amount of updates that they're sending out.
Oh, yeah. Well, the amount of updates is insane. The amount of updates everybody's sending out. It's like nobody can write good code anymore.
No, I mean, we go through and we update sites, and by the time we're finished updating everything, there's like 3 more to be updates. Like,
Uh-huh.
I just did that.
Uh-huh. Oh, I know. It's insane. It's a continuous barrage, man. And the auto updates are the worst because while I don't know what the percentage is. I'm going to say 50% of the time it's okay. We're talking Windows here. 50% is okay. 50% of the time it screws you up. And then 100% of the time it seems they don't like your sound settings. So they wipe you all clean and you have to go in and reset all of your sound settings. Especially if
Other
you've got,
settings that they wipe clean too, we just don't use them, so we're not aware of them.
yeah, well, quite possible. It's the sound. And the biggest problem with sound is like I have multiple devices on my computer for sounds.
Mhm.
And it always defaults to something I don't even use. And then I have to remember which one was I using? Oh yeah, that one. I write it all down and I'll take screenshots of all my settings.
There, every time I got an update, I'd have to, reset my preferred internet browser
Yeah.
every time. That was irritating. They stopped doing that, though, so maybe they'll eventually stop
Well,
resetting the sound settings too.
they stopped doing that because of lawsuits. Seriously,
Okay.
they used to do it. They used to do it to force everyone back into Microsoft's browser,
Yeah.
but they got sued over it.
Excellent. Well, maybe they'll get sued over the sound settings because they
No,
are messing with some very titchy stuff there.
they're not defaulting to any specific thing that they own.
Oh, okay. They're just defaulting the settings.
They're just defaulting the settings back to a default setting. I think they're defaulting to the sound card that's on my motherboard that I don't use,
Okay.
which is what makes it irritating.
That's very irritating.
So yeah, all right, we're getting ready for showtime. Showtime's coming up real quick. You know, so far everything seems to be working.
So how's the weather down there? Is it raining down there?
It's gonna be sunny.
Trying to be sunny?
Yes,
So the sun
you can see the sun through the clouds.
so the sun is kind of peeking through but hasn't managed to find its way out of the depths of the clouds yet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the sun isn't even trying to, it's not even bothering to try to show its face up here. It's just like, nah, I'm gonna go to sleep for a while longer.
no, that valley there. If you went to Duncan, it would be trying to get through. It's that valley. That valley
Ah,
holds the clouds.
so I'm in a valley of doom and gloom again.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I'm gonna be stuck in like this bowl of extreme heat in the summer?
Yep.
Doom. Okay, so the doom is the summer, the gloom is the winter. I seem to keep landing in valleys of doom and gloom.
Yeah. Well, it's nice and comfy.
Windy.
It's nice
Oh,
and
is it
comfy.
windy down there?
Not windy down here.
Okay, so it's not
Oh, it
windy where
is.
you are, but where your alter ego is, it's windy there.
Oh, it is. I'm looking out the window. Big tree.
A buddy of mine went camping and he said that he only had like his backpack and his sleeping bag in the tent,
Mm,
and he walked down to the bathroom, came back, and his tent was kind of lopsided because
mm.
of the wind.
Yeah. Well,
Turns out that the pegs he put down all came out, but
mm,
the tent couldn't run away because of his backpack.
mm-hmm. You know, put something weighty and heavy in it.
Yep.
All right. See what we got. That's all working.
Excellent. I feel like Mr. Burns right now. Get my fingers going like Mr. Burns. Excellent. I wonder, do you think the trees hear the wind is like a radio? And then the reason why they sway the way they do is because they're dancing?
Could be. You never know.
I mean, wind does have a tune.
Oh, I got something to drink. I'll be right back, and then we'll start.
Okay. Yeah, see, I was smart. I made sure that I got a drink beforehand. Wait, where'd my drink go? Oh, there it is. I found my drink. It was on a part of the desk that I don't usually look at. Oh, it's on that part of the desk because if I put it anywhere else, my water bottle is so big it blocks my screen. Okay, I'll just have to remember it's over there where I don't look. I've actually been drinking hot honey lemon water recently, and it's really awesome because I've even managed to wash my sugar craving by adding extra honey. Although the very last sip of honey lemon water sometimes is very, very lemony, no matter how much honey you add. All right, so it looks like we got everything all set up here. Just about ready to go. As soon as he gets back, we'll throw on some... Did we throw on music for this one? I think we just have the musical intro. Actually can't remember.
Alrighty.
Do we have music at the beginning of this one? I actually can't remember.
I forgot. I should have kicked it on.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for...
Okay, that one's playing really poorly.
Really? Because for some reason it's actually sounded pretty good to me.
Oh, well, I was only hearing half of it.
Oh, I'm hearing the whole thing for once.
I was hearing, I wasn't hearing the voice. The voice was massively muted.
Well, maybe that's the difference between you and I. If I hear the whole thing, that means it's playing poorly. Yeah. But if I only hear the music, that means it's playing perfect.
Doesn't matter. We'll call it that. And I think it's time for us to get this show on the road.
All right.
It is that time. So let's bring up the recording device and ready, set. You're not going to say go?
Oh, go.
And we're off.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 596, and we have plugins for Bulk Deletion, Zero Spamming, WordPress News, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you directly from... Wow, that just threw my brain into a loop. We're going to restart that one more time. Just because I threw that one completely crazy.
And take two.
Take two, man. Take two. Wind it all back. Let's re-rack the tapes and get it all started again. All right. Tapes re-racked. On your mark, get set.
Go.
All right. One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 596, and we have plugins for Bulk Deletion, Zero Spamming, and WordPress News, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. That just blows everything right out of proportion on me because I just lost my headphones. I gotta change my headphones.
Technical difficulties, pay no attention. Found him yet? Uh-oh, they seem to have fallen into a black hole.
Hello.
You got it? Got your headphones? Uh-oh. Maybe he fell into the black hole. Hopefully not. I hear there are crazy monsters in the black holes out there, man. I don't really know, though. I've never
Let's
been able
see,
to go
anyone
check
there?
one out for myself. Ignore the man behind the curtain. Yes, absolutely. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. We're just practicing for our stand-up comedy show later on.
That's pretty much what's happening here. Suddenly my headphones quit functioning.
Oh, good. You didn't fall into a black hole and get eaten by a crazy monster. It's good to know.
No. Adapters didn't
How about your
work.
headphones, though? Did you manage to get those from the monster, or did the monster eat them?
Oh, I've got an adapter issue on these headphones.
Uh-oh. I think the adapter bits are called dongles.
No, it's the adapting from a 1/4-inch jack to a 1/8 inch jack.
Ah, it's not a dongle, a true adapter then.
True adapter.
Well, they also refer to those things that go from like a regular USB plugin to like a phone plugin. They call those adapter dongles. So then again, I just like the word dongle a lot.
Okay, there we go.
Excellent, you sound great. Welcome back.
All right.
Congratulations on defeating the monster in the black hole.
Oh, we got to start this one more time. It's time for take 3.
All right, take 3.
Got to re-rack the tapes, man. Re-rack the tapes, wind it all back, start all over. All right, take 3. Get ready, set.
And go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 596, and we have plugins for Bulk Deletion, Zero Spamming, and WordPress News, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island, I'm John Overall. And with me is the ever-lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have a usual great show for you today. If you were in here for the pre-stream, you would have heard all the fun. But for those of you just listening here on the regular download, you missed all the good stuff. You'll have to go to YouTube to hear all about the fun we had dealing with the Kraken today. All right. Well, with all that being said, we've got all kinds of great stuff for you in our times of change. And with that being said, I suppose...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
I'm so glad we decided to keep that one. Makes you smile every time.
Uh-huh.
So welcome to episode 596. Title for today's show is WordPress Plugins A to Z. Times are changing, and they certainly are for our show anyway. This is our second go-round with the totally new setup. We would love for any and all of our producers out there to reach out and let us know what you like or don't like in this new setup. Tell us if there's something here you think, or something you might think. Okay, my words are messed up. Something you think might be good here. Or if you think something should not be here, reach out and let us know that too. So far, we've kind of had a couple days of sporadic sunshine out here. Not too much. It seems like the sun is still napping away though today. Hopefully everyone around has been able to get outside and soak up some of that sunshine. Vitamin D is really good for you. Now, some reminders before we start the show today. The show's face has changed, but the time and day has not. We are still going to be having the show on Mondays at noon 30 or 12:30 Pacific time with our usual pre-stream at about 12:15. You can come and join us in on the pre-stream while we twiddle the dials and pegs and get ready for the show. Or, fight Krakens. Whichever happens. And our show notes for each episode can be found at wppluginsaToZ.com. The newest show notes will be up within 24 hours and on our front page. As soon as you see our episode pop up on the front page, it has the show notes with it. And don't forget that this is a value for value show and that you are a big part of its creation. You are our producers, and we need you to help us to produce. So get on out there and hit some like buttons, share an episode or two, and let people know that you helped to produce the longest running WordPress Plugins podcast. That's it for reminders. Don't forget to stick around till the end of the show for some possibly life-altering advice. Let's start this show with this week's featured artist. So this week's featured artist is Daniel Payez. I think I said his last name correctly. This is not new art. This is older art, I believe. Are we still going through our art vaults?
Oh, we're still going through the art vaults. There's no new art there.
All right. So this is from our beautiful art vaults. I really like this today. Kind of cool and funky looking. Makes me think of deep diving with a watch on. Like those special watches that you can go deep diving with. They're really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool watch. I like it.
So if you are interested in checking out our art vaults, or if you're interested in sending new art into us, you can do so at wppluginsaToZ.com/artwork. We could definitely use some new artwork to add to the vaults. And time for the news.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
Breaking news in the WordPress world at large. First thing we have for you today is WordPress Vulnerability Report for April 12th, 2023. This is a pretty impressive list of plugins that have received patches recently, so be sure to go and check out that list. Regarding plugins with issues, the ones I most easily recognize for this week are opt-in forms, Tiny Carousel Horizontal Slider Plus, and Your Channel. Now, Your Channel is listed multiple times in this list because they have multiple issues going on and the plugin has been closed. So if you're using Your Channel, you are going to want to find a replacement for it as soon as possible, okay? Because it's closed, there's not going to be any patches coming out. Make sure you get on that if you're using this. Happily, there are no new theme issues, though there are a few themes that have been patched. So be sure to check out the list of themes that have been patched so that you can go and update your theme if your theme is on lists.
Yeah, and if you use WP Fastest Cache, make sure you've got the latest version because that's a pretty popular plugin.
Ah, yes. Next up, we have just a quick repeat from last week for those who didn't catch it. Twitter has suspended WordPress.com's access to Twitter API, which has broken the Jetpack social. If you're having trouble with your Twitter through Jetpack, that's because the API has been suspended. Be aware of this and the fact that Jetpack has not responded to anyone regarding getting a refund. So that's the thing that's going on. Just a quick repeat from last week.
And they're still having that? They haven't solved it in a week?
No.
That's a bummer.
I'm not sure they'll be able to because Elon doesn't seem in the mood for making deals.
Yeah, well, he's trying to kill Twitter. Actually, Twitter no longer exists as a company. It's now X.
Yeah. I think Elon is just having fun setting dumpster fires.
Pretty much. He's using it as fuel for his rockets.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, if nothing else, it's really entertaining to sit back and watch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, well, that's pretty much what it said when he took over. It's like, yeah, let's sit back and watch the dumpster fire. Bring some marshmallows and hot dogs. All right.
So the next thing we have here is Ghost SEO 20.5 drop support for PHP 5.6, 7.0, and 7.1. So be aware that if you are still in any of these PHP versions and use Yoast, you will have trouble getting things to work. If you haven't already, you need to get your site up to date as much as you can regarding the PHP.
This is just the beginning, folks.
Yeah. Hi, Hemdian. It's good to see you. Glad you made it.
Yeah, nice to see you, Hemdian. Yeah, this is just the beginning of what's going to happen with PHP since PHP 7.4 support dropped last year. Everybody's on the rush to get to 8 now, and they're going to be more and more of the primary plugins, the high-profile plugins like Yoast, are going to be forcing people to move to the next version of PHP. So,
yeah.
Get ready, folks. If you're not already into it, you may as well get started now because it's going to get worse.
Going to be a landslide soon enough. Right now, it's just all the little pebbles trickling down, but soon it's going to be a landslide.
Yep.
Next we have here, if I can get my eyes to settle on the right part of my notes. There we go. Limit login attempts, plugin patches, severe unauthenticated stored XSS vulnerability. Translated into layman's speech, it's a backdoor where attackers can get in to inject some malicious JavaScript into your site and take over your site when an administrator accesses the login page. The issue has been fixed, though if you are using this, be sure to update your and your client sites ASAP. I know that limit login attempts plugin, that is a plugin that I have used, so
Yep.
beware. Patches happen, and since a lot of us, we don't like letting the auto updates happen because auto updates tend to break things most times. If you don't allow the auto updates, you'll want to get in there and manually update things pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have WordPress developers are experimenting with Gutenberg, native AI block, and content assistance. So these developers are working with more than just the prototypical programming, trying out AI as something integrated into Gutenberg. They're looking to add in chatbots and assistants into the main directory. I think this could be really awesome or might be really terrible. I kind of foresee people being locked out of their site because the AI sees that they have tried to log in from a different IP address or something. But
could be.
But I also I can see a lot of the good things that may come of this. Like if you have a chatbot or an AI assistant right there, it would be a lot easier to get help, for instance, figuring out why your CSS isn't working or figuring out what the bug is that's going on that's messing things up, or even figuring out which plugin is causing the issue because they can go through all the information right there on your site.
Could be useful.
Ooh, just had another thought. It'd be really bad though if somebody managed to hack into the AI.
Yeah, well, don't bother. The AI will do its own hacking.
True. Next, we have BuddyPress to host Virtual Contributor Day on April 20th, 2023. The BuddyPress core team is hosting alongside the French WordPress Community Contributor Day in Paris on April 20th. The in-person event has already filled up, and they have posted a schedule already, though BuddyPress is inviting people to join them online. So if you're interested in this, you can check out the show notes for the link to find everything you need to go and join them online, or at least see what the schedule is. And then we have WordCamp EU 2023 announces free childcare and workshop for kids. I don't know if they had childcare before. Do you know?
No, in all the WordCamps I went to back in the day when I went to them, childcare wasn't there. You arranged for your kids to be taken care of while you went to WordCamp for their day.
Okay, well then I think this could actually be something rather exciting. Having childcare there gives you an opportunity to show up if you say can't find childcare, which has actually gotten very hard to do these days. And the workshop, I thought this was pretty cool. It's going to be on June 8th and is going to be introducing kids to the basics of WordPress, how to create a website, choose a theme, and publish content. The workshop will be open to kids between ages of 13 and 16. Again, you can check out our show notes to find out more information on this. And the last one I have for this section today, I always try to find a kind of amusing, entertaining one. C3PO style humanoid robots thrive from surge in AI development.
Yeah, didn't anyone watch iRobot?
I think everybody watched iRobot, but most people are just like, nah, that can never really happen. That was fantasy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
But then again, we've all watched Star Wars too, and C3PO is pretty awesome.
Uh-huh. Yes, well, he was by himself.
True.
And he wasn't controlled by an AI.
Also
where
true.
he could Wi-Fi in for new updates. He was a standalone, isolated unit. These are not standalone, isolated units.
Also true, yes.
Anyway, it was an interesting article. I actually read through it, and they pretty much described everything that they used the robots for in iRobot.
Yep.
And it's like,
They did.
okay. It's like, yeah, this will be fun. Let's really hope the world doesn't fall apart.
Well, I mean, they also talk about like how they're going with how they're going with interaction with humans and how they're being accepted or not accepted. They talk about a variety of things in this article. It's pretty cool. That picture right there, if you scroll down just a little bit more, kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, that was a bit creepy.
It's like a super ninja assassin robot.
Yes, it's a creepy photo. Alrighty.
R2D2, yeah. R2D2 is awesome. Also, C3PO and R2D2 were totally married.
Yeah, okay.
And Hemdian said the books, iRobot, was better. Wait, books? Was there more than one book?
I didn't know there were books. That means I'm going to have to go look them up.
Yeah, definitely. Because I actually didn't know that there was a book, let alone possibly more than one book.
Yes,
books are always better.
Books are always better. I'll have to go check out the books. Give me something to spend my credits on. All right. Well,
so we do have... Oh.
Keep going.
We do have some extras here. The extras have things for... have funny things like digital twins could save your life. Here's how. And then we have some good information like hackers are crashing in with hijacked IP addresses. There's some good and some entertaining information in our extras, so be sure to check out the show notes and look for the extras.
Absolutely.
All right, dragon rating time.
All right, let's get rolling. What do we got for plugins today? Well, the first one I've got here for you is one that I've been using off and on for a few years now, and it's called WP Bulk Delete. Now, why would you want something as dangerous as this plugin is? I mean, it's a great plugin, but don't get me wrong, it's extremely dangerous if used incorrectly. You can wipe out your site in a heartbeat. Now, what it's used for is cleaning up WordPress websites. Often some people discover, they've added junk over the years or months or however periods of time they've had their website up and going. They want to clean it all up, make it pretty again, get rid of some of the old articles or content that's no longer useful in there. So cleaning up's been a pain in the ass, but it does happen from time to time. Or there may come a time where you just want to wipe everything out, maintain all the plugin settings, all of the layouts and everything else, and just start from scratch. And this is another great way to do that. The other thing that this plugin is used for, and what I've used it for over the years more than anything else, is dealing with spammers. Now, even today, they still occur from time to time, nowhere near as badly as they were 5, 6, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, they were really bad. But they're not as bad as they are. There's a lot more protections out there to limit them and keep them from getting in there. But they still get in, and they might find one of those cross-scripting infections or backdoors of the plugins we talked about, of all the stuff we talked about in the vulnerability reports. And what they'll do is they'll inject posts into your site. They'll inject numerous dozens of hundreds of comments throughout the site. Or they'll inject in dozens of users in an attempt to try and bring one of those users up to administrative level. And that often happens in stores where people don't set up all the blockages to prevent robots from signing up for free accounts. So what this does, this plugin here, it helps get you in there and clean everything up. Now, before you use Bulk Delete, make sure you do one thing, and that is back up your database so that if you do make a mistake, you can start all over again and redo it. If you don't make a backup, once you delete something, folks, it's gone for good. You're not getting it back. It's gone. Bye-bye. Now, this one here, as I said, the biggest use I had for it was site compromises and cleaning those up. What it can do for you is it can go through, it deletes posts. The nice thing about deleting posts is the scammers will inject all the posts, and they'll usually be tagged with a date within the period of time that they had access to your site. So this plugin allows you to get in there and delete posts by modified date, by posted date. It also gets in, allows you to delete them by category or custom post type or custom taxonomy or authors or meta fields, all kinds. And this is in the free version of it. If you go into the pro version, you get the ability to delete WooCommerce orders. You can delete posts by title or content. You can use almost any filter or conditions on it. You can also schedule deletions of posts with this plugin. What else does it do for you? Well, it gets in there, and in the free version will allow you to delete posts that are older than X number of days. Maybe you one of those people that started a WordPress website 10, 15 years ago, and you've got posts that are 7 or 8, 9 years old that the content is just no longer valid, and you just don't want to figure out which ones are which. You can go in there and delete posts that are greater than X number of days old. Or you can delete posts that are less than X number of days old when you're trying to delete mass content, or in a date range. You can delete your public posts or your private posts. You can schedule deletion of posts automatically. Comments, if you're trying to clean up the comments on the website, it will allow you to get in there and delete them by status, whether they've been approved or not, by a date interval, or delete all comments. If you get the pro version of it, you can move on to comment author, comment posts, conditions and filters, or schedule deletion of things. Users, same thing, delete them by user roles, date interval, their registered date. This is another good key if you've been hacked, or not hacked, but spammed, and you want to delete a whole bunch of brand new registered users. You can just delete them by a date range, because chances are you won't miss anybody. You can assign. Now, the one key thing when you're deleting users is if you have users that actually created content in your site, if you accidentally delete those and you don't reassign the content, that content will sometimes delete with them. So this one here, the pro version will allow you to delete user data to another, or assign deleted user data to another user. You can go after meta fields. Database cleanup, it does do database cleanup for you also. It'll delete auto draft post, trash post, revisions, orphan meta, which is a very useful tool, clean up orphan metadata throughout your database, because it helps speed up your database by getting rid of this extraneous information that floats around on your site. You can delete duplicate meta in there. You can bulk delete posts or mass delete posts in the database. Deleting pages, same sort of thing, and post revisions. Now, this is a really big one that a lot of people don't realize on their website, on their WordPress site, is that every time you modify a post, a revision is kept of that post. And if you're one of those finicky people that, goes through, modifies a few lines and saves it, modifies a few lines and saves it, you do that 10 times, you've now got 10 post revisions stored in your database. And that actually clogs up and uses up and makes your database even larger. Now, there are ways to limit the number of post revisions that are saved, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But this allows you to clean up that post revision data and help speed up and streamline your database. So on the whole, this is a plugin that will help you keep your site clean, help you clean up a website, help you improve your database functionality, and more. If you just go with the free version, it does most of what you need to do. I've been able to use the free version for a very long time. I haven't needed the pro version on it. But if you need some of that stuff I've mentioned in the pro version, go buy the pro version and get yourself all set up. It's a great plugin. Go check it out. WP Bulk Delete, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
Yeah, I was checking that out, and the post revision is really what caught my attention, because the post revision, that would be super useful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. It is. There's other plugins for cleaning up post revisions and database plugins, but this one here has pretty much everything you need in one plugin.
Yeah, it also seems to not be a super heavy one.
No, it's not. It's a nice light plugin. It doesn't seem to interfere with anything else that's going on. The only way I could see it interfering is if you go to the pro version and start setting it to auto schedule deal with deletions and stuff.
Oh, don't do auto. Just stay away from auto, people.
Auto has its place. I use automatic functions for a lot of stuff, but they're functions that have proved to be stable and don't create more problems than they solve.
Yeah, but I don't think any kind of deletion on automatic is a good idea.
Oh, no. A deletion on automatic could be a bad idea because you could have it delete stuff that you might actually need.
Exactly. And that just would suck.
Yeah.
So we have a new segment here. Do we have a sound for it yet or no?
Let's see here. Do I have a sound for this? We'll go with this one. Till we pick something better.
Did you play a sound?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Apparently that's a sound that I can't hear.
Yes. I'm going to have to edit the audio on this stuff.
Okay, so this new segment is WordPress tips. And I brought a couple things forward this week, and here we really need some feedback from our producers out there, because we need to know, what would you find helpful here? What would you find useful? Or do you have some tips that you'd like to send in that we can put up here? Now, it's going to be different every week, but I'm going to start collecting all these tips. I'm going to start putting them into our website. That way we have a place so you can go and check them out. So the first one I have is Elementor Pro. One of the tricks I've found with Elementor Pro is sometimes when you're having troubles updating your Elementor, what you need to do is go to the Elementor site, download the latest version of Elementor Pro, and simply upload that into your site. It seems that sometimes there's a glitch in there somewhere when pressing the update button on your site when you're just trying to update all of your plugins, and it just breaks your site. It took me a little bit to figure this out because, clicking the update, that usually is what you need to do. And if it doesn't work, that means you need to roll it back because there's something wrong with your site and the plugin. But in this case, not actually a problem with the site and the plugin. It's something wrong with clicking the update button. I've only had this occur once on one site so far, but it did happen. So if it happens to you, just go download the latest update from the site and upload that into your site, and it should hopefully fix the issue that you're having, and you can just continue updating on your site from there. So that was a little thing that I managed to figure out, and hopefully it's a helpful tip for everyone.
Well, a little more to that one there. I find that it happens about 1 out of 10 times.
Okay.
When updating Elementor. And I haven't figured out exactly what causes it. It's a connection between your site and Elementor for downloading the plugin. And I've noticed that it occurs more if you're like me, you go to your plugins list and you update one plugin at a time from the plugin list. It generally happens from that page. If you go to the update page for WordPress, and where it lists all the thing and you could update every plugin at once, and you update it there, it happens less often there. And again, what I found, like Amber said, is that, you just go to the Elementor site, download the latest version of Elementor Pro, and then FTP it up. Now, I've also found that it sometimes breaks Elementor itself. Mm-hmm. So generally when this happens, I just go download the latest version of Elementor and the latest version of Elementor Pro, FTP it up to the website, and takes a couple 3 to 5 minutes to get it all done, and then it all works beautifully again. So, yeah. And I find that it happens about 1 out of 10 times.
And the next one I have here is Yoast breadcrumbs. So this is something I very recently discovered. I was creating a dev site and needed to add some breadcrumbs. As I was using Elementor, I decided to go with Yoast because it's an easy way to get the breadcrumbs on there. You get the Yoast up and running and you get the breadcrumbs. Unfortunately, I learned something regarding Yoast. When you bring the site to live and have to change from dev.site.com over to the site.com, Yoast will not automatically update that information. So there is no place to manually change this in Yoast that I was able to find. This meant plugging in search and replace and double checking the tables to make sure that everything was all right. So if you're wanting breadcrumbs and want to go with Yoast, I recommend not plugging in Yoast until the site is live in the site.com address, or just go with another breadcrumb plugin. So,
Yep, that was a bit of a pain in the ass.
yeah, that was a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody out there has ideas or suggestions, please send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we will add them in here, and your ideas will end up getting added into the pages I'm going to start making with all these tips and everything. They won't be organized, I don't think, not very well at first. We'll work on that. So I have a plugin. The plugin I brought today is Zero Spam for WordPress. This is a plugin to help cut down on spam mail, although it also covers malicious users, attacks like web and port scans, brute force, and a few other things too. I'm still finding new things in this one. So far, it's been working really well. I've been using it for a while now, and it hasn't caused me any issues. Once you've downloaded and activated this plugin, you'll find the settings for it on the left-hand menu under Settings, then Zero Spam. Another option is you can simply click Settings right there under the plugin name in your plugins list, which I always love when plugins do that. There are quite a few different ways that this plugin works for helping you to keep your site safer. To list a few, we have no CAPTCHA, no moderation queues, behavior detection engine able to dynamically block threats, integration with global IP reputation providers, allows admins to block IPs temporarily or permanently, geolocation integration to track where the threats are coming from. You can block entire countries, regions, zip or postal codes, and cities. You have an optional disallowed list using Blorp's comment blacklist, which that's just kind of a cool name. You can block known disposable and malicious email domains using disposable, and multiple detection techniques, including David Walsh's solutions. So those three things I just listed there, those are integrations. This plugin allows for integrations with other anti-spam and blocking and other plugins that work well in tandem with this plugin. I thought that was a really cool aspect to this. There's a lot of options for integrations as well. If you look into it, they have a whole list there of things that you can integrate with this plugin to help keep your site safer. And you not only get all this in the free version, but there's actually more you get in your free version. You do have an option to get the Zero Spam license, but they don't actually hold back the most useful tools in the free version, which I really, really like. You can use this plugin in the free version and manage to get the protection and the coverage you actually need without the license. Some other things that you get in the free version, you have the ability to debug, create settings for users. You can block, delete comments, and you can also have settings for registration. You can block IP addresses, but be aware you need to manually enter them into the plugin and make sure you enter them into the correct area, because there is a list for allowed and a list for block. Sorry, just looking at my notes here, because I think I already said this part of my notes. There we go. There are some issues that have cropped up enough for them to put answers on the WordPress page, like the little Q&A part down at the bottom. They had an issue of people getting an FTP_FGET, so FTP forget PHP notice. There is a simple fix for this though. You just add a little code into the config.php file, and they give you the information on how to do that, the code needed right there on the Q&A section at the bottom of their WordPress page that we have up on the screen right now. And there's no need to buy something first to get the help that they need. They seem to have really good customer support with this. So if you have a question, you can reach out to them. They may not get back to you immediately, but they do seem to get back to people on a regular basis. One one of the issues that they did have for a little bit was every time that they did an update, all of your settings got reset. I haven't had that issue, so I think that's fixed.
They were
Although
taking
somebody
lessons.
recently complained.
They were taking lessons from Microsoft.
Yeah. So I haven't had that issue. I've only had to set my settings up once and they stayed throughout my updates. But somebody complained about recently. I'm not sure what happened, but be aware it might happen.
Yeah.
That and the anti-spamming plugin sometimes gives you spam. It wants you to click on things and go and get their license and stuff. So
Well, that's not spam. That's encouraging people to, pay for their efforts.
it sure feels like spam.
Well, it depends on how often they're sending you the notice.
Well, when I first got the plugin, it was popping up like multiple times throughout my work time. But then it stopped popping up multiple times, only popped up once, and I closed it, went away. So I think they were spamming, and now they've kind of caught on to the fact that they're anti-spam and they were spamming people.
Yeah,
So
well, could be. Or they got complaints. It's like, wait a minute, you don't want spam. You're helping people stop spam, but you're spamming people. What are you doing here?
So hopefully that doesn't come back, but it used to happen.
Mhm.
Be aware.
Cool.
When you activate this plugin, be sure to go through the settings thoroughly and make sure you look up anything you don't fully understand. You don't want to accidentally block people who are just browsing or accidentally block the people who are emailing you for good reasons. So make sure you look up anything you don't understand quite well. And if you have any questions, any technical questions, you can reach out to these guys. Like I said, they do seem to have really good customer support. I rate these guys at 4 dragons.
Very cool. That looks like a very excellent, useful plugin. I may have to add it to a new site I'm building.
Oh, on to our producer and donation segment.
Alrighty then. Oh, we don't have a jingle for that.
We have a jingle for donations.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A-Z.
Oops, I had myself on mute. Sorry about that. So I've kind of taken this area and redone it, so I might trip over my tongue a few times. Be patient with me. Join in, be part of your own production, and support the show at the same time. You can reach out to John and get yourself interviewed, or send in your plugin reviews or suggestions for a plugin review, or send in questions and or comments. We always love hearing from our producers. And or you can earn yourself a producership credit. We have 3 levels of producers that help keep the show's larder stocked to the bursting: freelance producers, backroom producers, and war room producers. There are special perks for backroom and war room producers that you can learn about on our site, wppluginsatoz.com. Click on the time, treasure, or talent donations in our main menu to learn all about the nitty-gritty details on how you can add your 2 cents and get those special perks. We question notes and feedback from our producers out there. We actually do have someone who sent in their 2 cents. Happy to have you guys back on the show. I'm liking the change you've made, where you do a more in-depth review of the plugin you've chosen. It gives better understanding of the plugin and has helped me more to think about when comparing other plugins to the one you've reviewed. Jesse.
Yeah, that was a bit garbled. Okay.
Big garbled. Well, it did the sentence stop making sense for a moment there? Cause yeah, I garbled it. Yeah, I'm glad that you're liking the changes.
Well, bit by bit, as we continue through the mess.
No jingle. I'm not sure if Hemdian heard the jingle.
No jingle. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it played.
Even I heard it. Although it did show up a little late because Dad had to go searching for it.
Yes, I was so lost. It was hiding.
Some miscellaneous announcements from us and our producers. So if anyone out there has an announcement like a meetup or that they'll be on stage at a WordCamp, they can send it in to us and we will add it here and help get your news out to the world. There is a WordPress Victoria meetup, and that is on May 4th.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it's not public. It's not. You have to sign in to meetup.com to see it. So follow the link in the show notes, folks. It'll take you to meetup.com. Sign in, and I guess you'll see the meetup information.
yeah, we're not just going to be putting our own information here. We're going to be putting information.
Anybody and everybody that's got something happening that thinks it's worthy, we'll happily publish it here.
Exactly. Now how people can reach us is they can either reach out to us with our actual brick and mortar address. You can send in physical writing, which would be really cool, or physical pictures. Or you can reach out to us through our virtual addresses. There's our emails and websites that you can go check out in the show notes here. And today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up WP Bulk Delete by Xylus Themes, where it's very useful for helping you delete posts with or without filters, clean up your database, and clean up all those post revisions that are driving your nuts and clogging up your database. And I gave it a 4 dragon rating.
I covered WP Zero Spam by Highway Fivery LLC. No, not Highway Fivery, High Fivery LLC. I don't know where I got the way from.
Neither do I.
So yes, High Fivery LLC. With this, you can protect against spamming emails, protect your user login, block entire countries, regions, zip or postal codes, and cities. And I rated this at 4.
All right. Then we can just move on.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
If anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, specifically asked to my dad to try and stump him, send the questions in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad. My first question for you, sir, is what changes between the PHP versions, and why is it so important to update your PHP?
I honestly don't know what changes they've got going on. I'm not writing the actual PHP core code, which is different than the PHP you write for WordPress. But
count as a stump.
I can give you a basic understanding is the functions are changing. How the functions are done for the PHP you're writing to interact with the PHP core have been changing. They've also depreciated some functions, meaning that they've eliminated those functions, and people are still using depreciated functions. For a long time, they used to try to maintain backwards compatibility, but at a certain point, they realized that it was too dangerous. Because what happens with depreciated functionality is it opens up possible venues, vectors for attack by hackers and spammers and whatnot. And so the changes between them is in the way the core code is written to interact with the PHP you write, or WordPress or plugins or whatever, to have the functions happen that you want to happen. And let's take simple functions: addition, subtraction, print this information, gather that information, go to the database, get this, do this, all those things. That's what's changing between the versions. And the reason you want to update to newer versions is that old functionality is dangerous, and it's leaves possible holes or vectors of attack by the hackers and spammers. They constantly attack old code because there's a lot of stuff out there running old code. And so if they can find a hole into old code, they can find someone who's not bothered to update, or perhaps can't update, which does happen. There are reasons you can't update. You've written something very specific and you just haven't figured out how to rewrite it for the newer code. And so that's why it's important to update as soon as you possibly can.
So no, it doesn't count as a stump. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of answered my next question here. What are the risks of keeping an older PHP version?
Yeah, well, as I covered, the risks is you leave yourself open to being compromised in some way, or if your website just plain and simple breaking.
Well, I
Because
guess a more in-depth question on that line would be, uh, what happens when they go after the older functions? Are they able to get directly into your site, or like, how
yeah,
does that work?
well, they can get directly into your site by using holes, backdoors. You know, there's that's basically what it boils down to. They find a hole in the code, and by using that code, they can now insert something into your website, which allows them to take over your website. So,
Well, I have two more questions after the closing credits.
all right, well, let's let our girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
All right, so my next question for you is, what does it mean when companies say they are no longer supporting these versions of PHP? Do they mean if your site is on that version, they won't help you if SHTF, or do they mean that their plugin theme or whatever the company creates just won't work for you if your site is on that version of PHP?
That means their plugin won't work. Take Yoast, for example, and the fact that 7.1 and below is no longer going to be supported. If you're still running on 7.1 and you try to install that plugin, it will not activate. It will not function because it'll go, oh, you have 7.1, I can't activate. Boom, done.
Okay, so that's what they're meaning.
Yeah, they literally cease to support it and cease to allow their plugin to function on that version of PHP. Now, you could still go back to an older version of Yoast and use it, but you won't get any new functions that they've created, and that older version could be compromised through the PHP.
The last question is, what do you do when your site breaks after trying to update to the most recent version of PHP?
You make note of all the errors that occurred, and I mean all the errors, all dozens of them sometimes. I've had one site where it kicked out half a dozen or more errors. You make note of all the errors and copy all the error codes, and then you revert right back to the previous version of PHP so that your site will continue to function. And now you track down those errors and see if you can see if the author of the plugin is updating it, or if not, if you can update it. That's basically what you do, is you make note of them. Now, if you're an actual coder and you know how to fix these errors, you copy your site over to a dev site and you move that dev site to PHP 8 and you just run through it error by error, solving each error as you go. And when your site's fully functioning again, you're all done.
Hemdian said, updating everything will eliminate many old bugs and introduce all new bugs.
Yes.
But it will take time for the lazier hackers to adjust, so that could buy you a little time.
You know, the lazier hackers, but the ones that are on the ball, they'll be right on top of you. You know.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to really fully fireproof your site. Just make it harder for them to crack in.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, there is no 100% cure. I mean, even the big boys get hacked from time to time, though most of them don't mention it.
Yeah.
They usually keep it quite on the low down that they've been hacked or compromised.
I like Hemdian's comment here. When your site breaks, cry, then drink. When you wake up after, start fixing.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works. Unless it's a client screaming down your back, then you go under stress and try not to drink while you're doing it, because unless you happen to be a really good coder and can code while drunk.
Yeah, well, if it's a client site, you scream, fix it, then cry, then drink.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because it's the way it goes. It's, you know, it's been like that since the beginning. Actually, not quite the beginning. About a year or two after the internet fully came online, before all the normal people found out about it, and the hackers have always been there. In the beginning, a lot of it was just jokes. But then people started, the ones that, you know, make their money through nefarious means, realized, hey, wait, there's a lot of money to be made doing this stuff. And so,
yeah, no more free cup holder.
No more free cup holder. No more no more feed me a cookie. I still have those viruses kicking around somewhere on one of my hard drives.
You should just set them loose again.
Nobody has a CD-ROM player anymore.
Wait, what? I thought computers came with that still.
No, not new computers. You buy a new computer, there's no CD player in it anymore. Laptops don't even come with CD players anymore. I accidentally bought a laptop, and I thought, you know, it's a good deal on it. And then I went to, wait, there's no CD player on this thing. It's like they don't do that anymore because people don't use them. I mean, the vast majority of people, when was the last time people put a CD of a movie into, I'm not talking about you or me. Okay? We're talking about your average normie people out there. You know,
I don't know normal, average, normie people.
You need to meet a few. They're really interesting. They don't. The average user out there doesn't use a CD player. They don't get their movies from buying DVDs anymore. They download them from Netflix or wherever. They buy their software online. You know, they download it online to their computer. So many things are downloaded versus, you know, other stuff. So anyway, worst hack I experienced: employer's site, not my responsibility, exploited something that a fix had been available for 6 months. Yeah, it serves them right.
That sucks.
That does suck. It sucks. But, you know, if they'd known about it for 6 months, well, that's what it works, man. Yes, I tend to know a lot of people that still use CDs and DVDs, and
so do I.
you know, it's like you know, when my oldest son helped him build a computer, we had to order in a DVD player because, you know, we needed to use a DVD player because I didn't like to do it any other way. So at any rate, so, you know, it's updating your sites is very important. Updating the latest PHP, it's all very important. You want to do it as rapidly as you possibly can. You know, stay on top of stuff. I'm in the process of right now of updating stuff. My servers that I run for johnoverall.com web hosting, all of my servers are in the process of being updated and forcing all the clients to move their sites to PHP 8. And if they don't move them to PHP 8 by the deadline, they will find their sites break. And they had been warned 6 months in advance. They'll have 6 months to accomplish this task. If they don't do it, they'll wake up one morning, they'll be screaming at whoever develops their site, and their developer will be going, "Oh no," and then they'll be screaming at me, and I'll say, "You got the letters. We sent you all the notifications that we were eliminating all older versions of PHP from the servers. You know, you had time." And, you know, now you've got to spend even more money because, you know, there's the trifecta of anything and everything. The trifecta: time, talent, and quality. Or not time, quality, and speed. No, that's what the bloody. I've lost track of the three points of the triangle.
SQL server worm on a bank's network. SQL server express in every ATM equals network flooded for days.
Oh yeah. How many billions did they steal? Yeah.
I guess the best way to get a whole bunch of money with people not really noticing is to take all those half cents and pennies that nobody pays attention to.
Shoot. I'm going to have to look this up real quick because this is just bothering me.
Gotta know what the three whatevers are. I hope that the Kraken didn't get him again.
Oh no, it's it's time, quality, and cost. You can only choose 2. Okay, if you want it really fast, it's going to cost you a lot. If you want high quality, it's going to take time.
No, I see. Okay.
Okay. If you want high quality, fast cost you. High quality, it's either time, or if you don't have the time, it's going to cost you a lot because you have to throw more people at it. You know, so whatever two, you can't have all 3 at the same time because you can't have cheap and have it fast. You can't have cheap and have quality. You know,
this is very true.
You know, you can't have quality and, you know, no matter how it goes, you can only choose 2 of the 3. Is what it comes down to. Time, cost, and quality. The project management triangle.
I think that's a great note to end the show on.
Yes, we will end it on that. And because we're at the end of the show, we can actually kick out a little bit of music just for fun. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Enjoy the music.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are